The Galactic Combat Academy's survival training dome hummed with artificial gravity as Instructor Vexlar, a 7-foot-tall Kryn warrior with chitinous armor plating, surveyed the assembled cadets. His 3 eyes narrowed as he addressed the class of mixed-species recruits. "Today's exercise is simple," Vexlar announced, his mandibles clicking. "You will enter the simulation chamber. You have no weapons, no tools, no communication devices. Your objective, survive the hostile environment and improvise defensive capabilities. You have 30 seconds once the scenario begins." The cadets shifted nervously. There were Thoraxians with their crystalline exoskeletons, Bolivians whose tentacles could reshape into various forms, and Draxi whose natural camouflage made them excellent infiltrators. And then there was Marcus Rodriguez, the only human in advanced combat training level 7. Marcus stood at average height compared to his classmates, his plain features unremarkable except for the constant alertness in his brown eyes. The other species had learned to stop underestimating Earth's representatives, but whispers still circulated. Humans were new to the Galactic Alliance, their homeworld barely a century into space travel. What could they possibly offer that species with millennia of warfare couldn't? "Enter," Vexlar commanded. The simulation chamber materialized around them, a ruined urban environment, post-apocalyptic and debris-filled. Broken furniture, shattered glass, twisted metal, scattered throughout a crumbling building. The artificial sun beat down through holes in the ceiling. "Begin," Vexlar's voice echoed. 30 seconds to arm yourselves." The other cadets scattered, searching frantically. Thoraxian cadet Zixnal grabbed a metal pipe, testing its weight. Bolivian cadet Ornthes wrapped tentacles around a jagged piece of concrete. The Draxi simply picked up the sharpest shard of glass she could find. Marcus didn't move. Instead, he stood perfectly still for exactly 3 seconds, his eyes scanning the environment in a methodical pattern. Then he exploded into motion. His hands moved with practiced efficiency. A broken chair leg, weapon 1, blunt force trauma. A shard of mirror glass, weapon 2, slashing capability. He tied them together with electrical wire from the wall, weapon 3, improvised spear. But he didn't stop. Belt from abandoned clothing, weapon 4, garrote. Aerosol can and lighter from debris, weapon 5, flamethrower. Broken glass embedded into a shoe, weapon 6, enhanced kick weapon. Electrical wire looped into coils, weapon 7, whip. Batteries and steel wool, weapon 8, fire starter for smoke screens. The other cadets were still examining their single weapons when Marcus moved to a pile of rubble. Metal bolts scattered on the ground, weapons 9 through 15, projectiles. Broken table leg and rubber bands from drawers, weapon 16, slingshot. Cleaning chemicals under a sink, weapon 17 and 18, acid sprays. Glass bottle, weapon 19, container for chemical weapons. Rags, weapon 20, delivery system for chemicals or Molotov cocktails. 10 seconds remaining, Vexlar announced. Marcus's hands became a blur. Nails from broken furniture, weapons 21 through 28, caltrops. Plastic bags, weapon 29, suffocation tool. Power cord, weapon 30, tripwire. Broken antenna, weapon 31, puncture weapon. Book, weapon 32, distraction projectile or shield. Scissors from a desk drawer, weapon 33, close combat blade. The other cadet stared, frozen in confusion. How was he moving so fast? How did he know where everything was? Belt buckle, sharpened on concrete, weapon 34. Pen, reinforced, weapon 35, stabbing implement. Coins, scattered, weapons 36 through 40, thrown distractions. Shoelace, knotted, weapon 41, garrote backup. Spray bottle with chemicals, weapon 42. Aluminum can, crushed into points, weapon 43. Lighter fluid, weapon 44. Duct tape wrapped around knuckles, weapon 45. Broken porcelain, razor sharp, weapon 46. Time, Vexlar called out. Marcus held up a fire extinguisher, the pin already pulled. Weapon 47, he said calmly. Blunt weapon, vision obscurement, or pressurized chemical spray depending on application need. The simulation chamber fell silent. Instructor Vexlar's mandibles hung open. In his 3 centuries of teaching combat tactics, he had never witnessed anything like this. The other cadets stood motionless, their single improvised weapons suddenly seeming inadequate. Cadet Rodriguez, Vexlar finally managed, his translator struggling with his tone of disbelief. Explain your methodology. Marcus set down the fire extinguisher and gestured to his collection. Sir, humans evolved as persistence hunters and tool users on a death world. Everything is a potential weapon or resource. We pattern recognize instinctively and categorize objects by potential use within milliseconds. It's survival instinct from Earth. If you can't outrun predators or outmuscle prey, you outthink them and use your environment. Zixnal, the Thoraxian, chittered in his native language before the translator caught up. But we were taught weapon selection, quality over quantity. One good weapon is better than many poor ones. Marcus shook his head. With respect to the instructor's training, that's a doctrine from species who evolved with natural weapons or in relatively safe environments. Humans didn't have claws, venom, armor plating, or size advantage. We had persistence, pattern recognition, and the ability to turn anything into a tool. On Earth, the difference between having one weapon and 47 could mean surviving or dying. Redundancy isn't just smart, it's instinctual. Vexlar approached the array of improvised weapons, examining each one. The construction was crude but functional. Every item served multiple purposes. The human had even categorized them mentally: projectiles, close combat, area denial, chemical, distraction, and combination weapons. The exercise hasn't ended, Vexlar announced suddenly. Hostile entities incoming. Defend yourselves. The simulation erupted. Combat drones materialized from the walls, advancing on the cadets with stunning speed. The other students raised their single weapons, preparing to fight or flee. Marcus didn't hesitate. He threw the coins in an arc, visual distraction. Deployed the caltrops, mobility denial. Sprayed the fire extinguisher, vision obstruction. Used the improvised spear to strike from behind the chemical cloud. When a drone broke through, he switched to the glass-embedded shoe for a devastating kick, then the aerosol flamethrower to force it back. Each weapon served its purpose before being discarded or retained based on continuing utility. When close combat became necessary, the belt garrote disabled one drone while the sharpened belt buckle damaged another's sensor array. The entire engagement lasted 43 seconds. When the simulation ended, Marcus stood surrounded by disabled drones, having used 22 of his 47 weapons in various combinations. The other cadets had survived, but barely, their single weapons limiting their tactical options. Instructor Vexlar approached Marcus, his posture shifted into what humans had learned was Kryn respect. Cadet Rodriguez, you have taught this class a valuable lesson today. The galaxy has much to learn from humanity's approach to survival. Marcus nodded respectfully. Sir, every human child plays a game, the floor is lava. We imagine dangers and create solutions from our environment. It's not special forces training. It's just, human. As the cadets filed out, Marcus heard the whispers beginning again. But this time, they weren't questioning what humans could offer the Galactic Alliance. They were wondering what other, normal, human behaviors might revolutionize combat doctrine across the stars. And somewhere in the back of Marcus's mind, he was already counting the potential weapons in the hallway outside. 73, he estimated. Just in case.